All right, so I can't hear you all right now. So I'm going to hope that you all can hear me. We're going to hope that technology is working right now. If it's not working, I know Teresa will give me a call. I want to begin. I want to start with an apology. I apologize for not being with you all in person. I know it was mentioned, but as I speak to you all about being a disarmer of bombs and a little bit about overcoming, I am on the heels of having to speak at a memorial for my brothers, my sisters in arms, my fellow bomb technicians who have died in service. There's a memorial that goes on every single year. It's up in Destin, Florida, where we go to our bomb tech school and we put everybody's name on a wall that has died in that year of service through their service as a bomb technician. But what I can tell you this is I remember very well the last bomb that I stared down, September 19th, 2010. It was near Kandahar, Afghanistan. And, you know, when I think about that time, when I was injured, I was working in Afghanistan. It was September 19th. It was 2010. We only worked under the cover of darkness. It was at night. I was leading my assault force through a pot field. I was working with two snipers, DeLong and Foreman. We had to stop at a riverbank, and I knew that there was a bomb in the area that we were looking. I knew that there had to be one there, and you know, that was just the intuition. The hairs were standing up on the back of my neck, and I'm in this spot, and I'm telling my guys, you got to hold, because I'm pretty sure there's something buried in the ground. Got to let me do everything that I can do to try to find this device. And I did everything that I could on that riverbank to try and find it, but ultimately I didn't find it until I found it in the way that I didn't want to find it. I stepped on it. And when I stepped on it, I remember it vividly. It was boom, you know, it was this explosion. It detonated beneath my feet. It probably tumbled me some 5 or 10 dust and dirt and explosives. It was blown up into my eyes. You know, as I'm laying there, it's I can hear my comms in my ears. My men, they're talking about me and they're saying, EOD is hit, EOD is down, and I knew that that was me. I was the EOD tech. I was the bomb technician on the battlefield there, and I could hear them talking about me, and I'm realizing, man, there's something serious going on here. There's a very serious reason that I can't stand up. There's, you know, I'm trying to wipe all this stuff out of my eyes, and I'm seeing all that's done to my left arm, and I'm really figuring out everything that was going on there. And you know, right about that time, my men, they came charging in order to save my life, and they had to put tourniquets on what was left of each one of my legs and what was left of my left arm in order to keep me from bleeding out on the battlefield. That's what they had to do to save my life. Those were the challenges that I went through. Certainly the biggest physical challenge that I had ever gone through in my life at that point was that explosion that occurred in my life. Now, what do explosions have to do with you? What explosions have to do with you is the fact that every single one of us, we all face explosions in our life. That's the reality of life. Not all explosions are physical, like mine, like a bomb technician, where it's C4 or dynamite or some other kind of explosive that literally blows up in your life. We have different kinds of explosions in our life. Sometimes they're explosions, they're physical, maybe they're mental, maybe they're emotional, maybe there's something with you know, finances or with work or with school or with family or with 100 different things. But we all have things that can really try us, really challenge us in our life, those explosions that we have. And we don't control the explosions that come into our life all the time, but what we control is what we do in response to those explosions that we face in our life. I always tell people that the challenges that we face in life, they matter about this much compared to what it is that we choose to do in response to the challenges that we face. That's what we control. When something challenges us, when something hits us, when something punches the wind out of our gut or something like that, and we're knocked down and we don't know if we can get back up, what do we do in response to that? That's what we control as individuals. And, you know, I just wanted to give you a few lessons, a few things that I learned from my time as I was trying to overcome these challenges that I was now facing in life. And the number one thing that prepared me to begin with to start to overcome those challenges was the way that I had lived my life already. The fact that I had already spent a good deal of my life challenging myself in a lot of different ways. I was challenging myself in the military each and every day as I was out there as a service member. We were challenging ourselves not just physically, but mentally and emotionally to make sure that what it was that we were facing, we knew that we weren't going to quit. Didn't matter the kind of austere conditions that we were facing. We were challenging ourselves as a daily way of life so that when we were in situations of combat where it was very serious, people were going to be shooting at us, we might get blown up, there's bombs coming down from the sky, you don't know what's going to happen. We knew that we challenged ourselves enough that when we were really put up against it, we weren't going to quit. We could take it. And now I was facing pretty much the biggest challenge that I could ever possibly face in my life. And that was the most important time for me to draw upon all of those ways that I had challenged myself earlier in life. I needed to draw upon that strength because now I was facing a whole new world where I was missing 2 legs and a finger. And there was a lot about life that I didn't know what was going to happen. So that's a number one thing about being able to overcome challenges. You don't know when you're going to get faced with these challenges in your life, but what you can do is you can go out there and you can seek to challenge yourself in life. And that's something that you do control is, how do you go out there and prepare yourself, make yourself stronger, make yourself better, right? If I go out there and I do a push-up, if I do 1 push-up, I'm that much more prepared to go out there and do a 2nd push-up or a 3rd push-up because I've made myself 1 push-up stronger. If I go out there and run, my lungs are stronger, my legs are stronger. I can go out there and I'm that much more capable of running further the next time. That's what that preparation, it does for you. It makes you more capable to withstand those challenges, those explosions that you're going to be able to, that you're going to have to go out there and face in your life at some point or another. So that's just number one. Make sure that you're preparing yourself. I always say it to people like this. You got to be like a mountain climber that's always seeking the highest peak to go out there, the highest mountain to climb, the toughest route to go out there. Challenge yourself in that way. Find those challenges that you want in your life. Make sure that you're smart about them, but find those ways to make yourself better each and every day. And that's something that's going to help you as you face other challenges in your life. The second thing that I would love to say about overcoming challenges is this, and it's about the people that you surround yourself with. You got to surround yourself with good people that are going to push you, that are going to drive you, that are going to tell you when you're messing up and tell you when you're doing good and push you to do better when you're not doing something so good and push you to keep going and keep going and keep going, even though your actions really are good. You got to have those people in your life that are going to drive you. Have the right friends around you. It matters a great deal. I'll give you a couple of stories of having the right people around me in my life. I'd step back to, again, that moment that I was injured in life. And after I was injured, it took about a week for me to get back to the United States of America. And when I got back to the United States of America from serving in Afghanistan, I woke up in this hospital bed in Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. The first persons to come to my bedside was my father, right? My father and I, my dad, we love each other very, very much. But my dad and I, we just haven't always been those two guys that go around saying that we love each other. It's just not who Dad and I are. I tell my young boys that I love them all the time, but that's what made this especially meaningful is when my father came to my bedside, he's standing over me and he's tearful. He's emotional. He's wiping the tears from his eyes. He's in a blazer. He always has a blazer on. Doesn't matter what's going on. And he's telling me, Brian, I love you. I'm glad you're okay. I'm glad you're alive. And then it went back to tough love. And my father looked at me very seriously and he said, Brian, you can't let this keep you down. You got to find a way to pull yourself up and get yourself out there and get back to work. He said, you can't let your children see you sitting on your butt, regardless of what happens to you in life, regardless of what your explosions are in life, because your kids are looking at you and they're trying to understand how do they go out there and live their lives. In this very difficult moment of my life, my father, he was number one. He was inspiring me, but he was also asking me to inspire my children, and he was asking me to overcome by my adversities, and in doing so, inspire my children in the way that they should go out there and live my life. But he was the right person that I needed in my life. He wouldn't let me slack. He wasn't going to let me sit back and say, woe is me, I lost 2 legs, I lost a finger, I have this excuse to go out there and not work hard and not do my best and not do other things. He said, no, this is the time that you got to step up and show what you're made of, because your kids are watching you to see how it is that they need to react when they're punched in the gut, when they're thrown down, when they're pushed on the ground. How do they react? They're looking at you to see how to do that. To give you another example of how I had the right people around me in my life. Again, when I was recovering, not long after that time where my father was by my bedside, that same hospital, Walter Reed Army Medical Center, at the time that I was injured in the war in Afghanistan, we were having about 50, 60 people every single month that were waking up in a very similar condition to myself. Some of them were missing 2 legs like me. Some of them were missing 3 limbs. Some of them 4 limbs. Some of them were blind. Some of them were burned, but very, very serious injuries. And what I can tell you about all of those individuals is every single day when we were out there doing physical therapy together, we weren't quitting, we weren't stopping, we weren't saying, you're okay, get out of here and come back tomorrow and do this. No, we were pushing ourselves. We were driving each other. We were saying, listen, if you're going to walk around this place twice, then I'm going to walk around it 3 times. If you're going to walk around it 3 times, I'm going to walk around it 5 times. We were driving each other, pushing each other, being the right kind of people in each other's lives to make sure that we were advancing and getting better. And that's having that circle around you that, they're friends and they're going to be friendly to you, but they're going to make sure to push you the whole way as you're going along. Next point that I want to give you about overcoming adversity is about your heart. You got to have it inside of you that you're never going to quit. And that's really easy to say. I'm never going to quit. Nothing's ever going to stop me. It's a lot harder to do in practice, I can tell you that, because you might face some very serious challenges in your life. But having that heart inside of you where you tell yourself, I'm never going to quit. Nothing is ever going to go out there and stop me in life. Having that drive inside of you, that's something that you build up. You build up by having the way that you go out there and you live your life every single day, starting right now. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter what grade you were in. You start building yourself up right now so that your way of life from this moment to every moment forward in your life is that no matter what it is that you face, you're not going to quit. Nothing's going to beat you. Nothing's going to keep you down. You know that when you face a challenge, you're going to look at it square in the eye and you're going to give it a size 10 in the backside. You're going to give it a big boot in the tail and you're going to kick its butt. It's not going to kick your butt. You're going to kick its butt. You know that much about yourself. I always tell people in life that I think that there's 2 disabilities that we all have in life, and it's not, if we all have it, it's not the same disabilities that some people think I have. It's not missing 2 legs and a finger. Those aren't the 2 disabilities that we all have in life. The 2 disabilities that we all have in life are this, is number 1, are you courageous? Are you bold? Do you have courage? Do you have will and drive and fortitude inside of yourself? Are you willing to have dreams and ideas that even though you have those dreams and ideas, you're not afraid to have them, even though somebody might laugh at you for them. Even though somebody might tell you there's no way you can accomplish that. Even though somebody might ridicule you for your dreams and ideas. Even though you know that there's a chance that you might fail at what it is that you have the courage to dream about. Are you brave enough and courageous enough to have those dreams and ideas inside of you? So I can't hear you right now, but I expect an audible response out of you. And I'm going to ask this several times just to make sure that your instructors there, they get an audible response out of you. And if I don't get an audible response and I need to keep asking this, give me a phone call and let me know that I need to ask it a few more times. So let me ask this very concretely out of you all. Are you brave? And I expect you all to yell right now, yes. So I'm going to say it again. Are you brave? I don't know if you said yes or not, but you better have. Are you brave? Are you courageous? Are you bold? Let me hear you say yes. Do you have dreams? Do you have ideas inside you? You better, because if you don't, you're going to be missing out on the most creative and amazing part of your life, letting somebody tell you that, you can't get that. You're worried about not being able to accomplish that. That's a disability we all have in life. Don't let it affect you. That's disability number 1. Disability number 2 is this that we all have. When you have a dream, when you're brave and you're courageous and you have a boldness inside you to say, that's something that I want to accomplish, something that I want to be able to reach out and grab, when you have that inside of you, do you have the drive inside of you? Do you have the determination and the fortitude inside of you to do every single thing that you can do to make sure that you accomplish your goal? How is it that you spend your time? Do you spend your time working on your television coordination, playing some video game, or playing something on some phone somewhere? Do you spend your time watching some show on TV that doesn't get you to your dream? Or do you spend your time working on your dream, fighting every single moment so that you can accomplish what it is that you dared to go out there and dream about? Those are the 2 disabilities that we all have, and we all share in them equally, but we also get to determine how it is that we react to those things. Are you brave and courageous and bold? And do you have the determination inside of you to make sure that you don't fail at what it is that you have a dream to go out there and accomplish. Those are those disabilities. And I want to give you one last point on overcoming adversities and just making sure that you get to the point that you want to get to in life. And that's this. You got to have a smile on your face. And I say that seriously. You got to have a smile on your face. You got to find a way to enjoy it. When you're faced with adversity, when you're faced with difficulty, when you're faced with a very, very serious challenge, you got to know that you're not going to quit. You've surrounded yourself with the right people. You've prepared yourself so that you can beat that challenge. And you got to have this smile on your face that's ear to ear, knowing that you're going to kick that challenge in the backside. You say what? I got to enjoy something that's painful and arduous and not fun. I got to have a smile on my face while I do that. Well, yeah, I can tell you that the way that you react to things, your emotions and how you react to things, that absolutely affects how well it is that you're going to be able to go out there and fight those challenges that you face in life. You know, when I was in the military and I was out there in that preparation phase in life where I was trying to make myself better, we were out there, we used to do things all the time. We call them ruck marches. And in a ruck march, you never knew exactly how far you were going. Maybe you were marching 10 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles. You'd have 100 pounds on your back and a whole bunch of gear, a whole bunch of other stuff. You get blisters on your feet. Your legs are burning. They're tired. Your lungs are burning. You don't know if you're going to make it. But as you're out there doing that, as I was out there doing that, and I was walking past other people, and I was looking at the people that were saying, "Now we're still going, we're still going." I had a smile on my face the whole time, and they used to always ask and wonder, you know, why's Brian got this smile on his face? Real quick here. I mentioned a mountain climber briefly in my story, right? You know, don't be afraid to go out there and reach for the highest peaks. Well, when you think about a mountain climber, you know, you think about somebody climbing those mountains. What they're remembered for is summiting the peak. They're remembered for, man, that person made it to the top of Everest. That person made it to whatever peak. That's what they're ultimately remembered for. But what actually makes that climber who they are is everything that they do in preparation to get themselves to the top of that mountain. Everything that they have to do to drive themselves, to have that dream, to reach deep inside and push themselves no matter how challenged they are. That's what actually makes them who they are. They're remembered for getting to the top, but what really makes them is everything that they did to get to that point. Make yourself everything that you can to get to the peaks that you want to get to, and you're going to do some pretty awesome things. Again, I'm really sorry that I couldn't be with you all in a personal way today. I wanted to be, but I appreciate the opportunity to sit here and speak to you all for a few minutes. Sorry for the early technical difficulties, but I look forward to being on campus with you all again. And in that, I wish you all the best. Y'all take care.